What if the only thing standing between you and the life you want isn't lack of talent, money, or opportunity, but one moment of courage? Right now, there's something you know you should do, but fear keeps whispering, wait, here's the truth. Courage isn't about feeling fearless. It's about moving while your hands shake, speaking while your voice trembles, stepping forward while your heart pounds. The people who change their lives aren't less afraid. They just refuse to let fear decide. And today, that decision is yours. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting while you are afraid. Let that sink in. Because most people are waiting. They are waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel confident, waiting for the fear to disappear. But fear is not the enemy. Fear is the signal. Fear is the signal. Fear is the doorway. And on the other side of that doorway is the life you've been asking for. Right now, there is something you want to do that scares you. A conversation you've been avoiding, a risk you've been postponing, a dream you've been shrinking so it feels safer. And your mind keeps whispering, what if I fail? What if I'm rejected? What if I'm not enough? But what if those questions are not warnings? What if they are invitations? Understand this. Fear shows up whenever you are about to grow. It shows up before the promotion, before the big decision, before you speak your truth, before you leave what's comfortable for what's possible. Fear is the body's response to the unknown. It's energy, it's intensity, it's power. And most people misinterpret that power as a stop sign, but it's not a stop sign, it's a green light disguised as discomfort. Think about the moments that shaped your life. The first time you stood up for yourself. The first time you tried something new. The first time you tried something new, the first time you walked away from what was holding you back, you were afraid, your heart was racing, your palms were sweating, your mind was spinning, but you acted anyway. And because you acted, your identity changed. You didn't just do something courageous, you became someone more courageous. That's the secret. Courage is not a trait you're born with. It's a decision you practice. Every time you act in spite of fear, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become. You are telling your brain, this is who I am now. I am someone who moves forward. And your brain listens. Your confidence doesn't come from thinking about action. It comes from taking action. So many people are trapped in analysis. They replay scenarios in their head. They calculate risks. They imagine worst case outcomes. And in doing so, they drain themselves before they even begin. But action creates clarity. Action creates momentum. Action rewires fear into strength. The fastest way to dissolve fear is to strength. The fastest way to dissolve fear is to move toward it. Let's be honest. Fear feels real. It feels rarely about danger. It's about uncertainty. And uncertainty is the price of growth. You cannot build a new life with the old comfort zone. You cannot create extraordinary results with ordinary levels of risk. If you want a different future, you must be willing to feel different emotions. The problem is not fear. The problem is the meaning you attach to fear. If you believe fear means I'm not ready, you'll stop. If you believe fear means I'm not ready, you'll stop. If you believe fear means this matters, you'll lean in. Change the meaning and you change your response. Fear can mean you're stepping into a bigger arena. Fear can mean you care deeply. Fear can mean you're on the edge of transformation. Every leader you admire has felt fear. Every entrepreneur who built something great has faced doubt. Every athlete before a championship game feels pressure. The difference is not that they are fearless. The difference is that they have trained themselves to act while afraid. They understand that emotion does not have to dictate behavior. You have more control than you think. You may not control the first surge of fear, but you control the forward surge of fear, but you control the story that follows. You control whether you retreat or rise. And here's the truth. The moment you take one small step forward, fear begins to shrink. It loses its grip because courage is contagious within yourself. One bold action makes the next one easier. Confidence is built in the doing. You don't wait to feel brave before you speak up and bravery follows. You don't wait to feel strong before you start. You start and strength develops. Action precedes emotion. More often than emotion precedes action. That is a law of growth. Imagine who you would be if you stopped negotiating with your fear. Imagine the opportunities you would seize, the standards you would raise, the boundaries you would set, the dreams you would chase, what relationships would change, what career moves would you make, what version of you would finally emerge. Courage is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows through resistance. Every uncomfortable conversation strengthens it. Every risk expands it. Every moment you choose growth over comfort builds it. And then you put the why. And over time, what once terrified you becomes normal. What once seemed impossible becomes routine. There is a cost to courage. You might fail. You might be misunderstood. You might fall short. But there is a greater cost to avoiding courage, regret, stagnation, a quiet voice inside that says, I wonder what would have happened if I tried. Regret weighs more than failure ever will. Failure teaches, regret haunts. The world does not reward hesitation. It rewards boldness. It rewards those who step forward when others step back, and you don't need massive dramatic gestures. Courage often looks small, making the call, sending the message, applying for the opportunity, saying no when you used to say yes, saying yes when you used to hide. You are not defined by the fear you feel. You are defined by the actions you take in its presence. That is where identity is forged. That is where identity is forged. That is where self-respect is born. Because every time you act while afraid, you prove to yourself that fear is not in control. You are. So the next time your heart races and your mind fills with doubt, don't interpret it as weakness. Recognize it as the threshold of growth. Breathe. Stand tall, take one step, then another, and another. Let fear walk beside you, but don't let it lead you. Your life expands in proportion to the risks you're willing to take. The comfort zone may feel safe, but nothing grows there. Step beyond it, embrace the discomfort, use the energy of fear as fuel, turn it into movement, turn it into momentum, because in the end, courage is not about eliminating fear. It's about deciding that something else is more important. Your dreams are more important. Your standards are more important. The person you're becoming is more important. The person you're becoming is more important. And when that decision becomes stronger than your fear, nothing can stop you. Courage is acting while you are afraid. And the moment you choose to act, you begin to transform not just your circumstances, but yourself.